Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Won't stop fighting to the very end. Many men try to reach it, many men have failed. Well, if you wanna get to heaven, you gotta raise a little hell. And I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. Will you find me? Hope you find me. When the sunrise, when the sun.
Well, here we are live, finally. After all this time, we've planned and we've done umpteen things to get this ready to rock and roll. Now, I introduce myself. As you just saw, I'm Nigel Main. I'm the founder and managing director of Sales Exchange. And Sales Exchange is a consultancy that has been looking specifically at new business. Now, the point of doing this, and I kind of want to set the parameters to begin with, is that I want there to be a dialogue. Message me, email me. You can message me on LinkedIn or YouTube or whichever platform you're watching us on. But the point of this is that this is going to be a very, very different narrative and dialogue about B2B marketing, B2B new business generation. It's really critical. Now, the thing with any kind of live show, if it's being run solo, which this is, and I'll show you the rest of it a bit later, but the point with live shows is that it's not, of course you want it to go smoothly, but if it doesn't, it's how quickly you recover. So work with me on this one. Don't go, oh, look, he's got it wrong. So the point of this, what's this about? I'll get to the point. There's never enough business, there are never enough leads, and every company wants to do more year on year. And one of the fundamental problems is that, and it's a bit of a way of talking about things, if you do the same thing over and over and expect a different result, it's not going to happen. And so I have developed over the past 4 or 5 years an alternative strategy that will help businesses flip their new business generation and change pipelines, change revenue. Now, if just to kind of clarify something, I expect to be speaking to managing directors, CEOs, or people involved in the sales process, so CROs, CGOs, VPs of sales and sales. They're the two kind of groups that I'm actually focused on communicating with. If you're involved in marketing, hang on, because this is going to be a bumpy ride. Quick background. I've been involved in sales and marketing for over 35 years. I've cold called, door knocked, phoning. The biggest deal I ever sold was about 4.5 million. The most people I've had working for me is 40. So I've got a number of T-shirts. And you could say my driver to find out a better method of doing things was having been involved in sales and running startups, setting the startups up. Life happens to people. And no sales manager gives a monkeys if you're not on target. That's your problem. Well, this happened to me, that happened to me. No, it's your problem. And my daughter died. I had a quadruple bypass, and I got divorced in the space of 7 years. And so I believed that something had to give. And as individuals, we have no choice but to keep going. And if business isn't coming in, why is it not coming in? Not just because of life issues, but maybe it's marketing. So I made it my goal, my job, to analyse and go through exactly what happens within marketing. So it makes sense. So I nailed the sales side of things. Now I'm looking at marketing. And that's been an interesting journey. So what I'm going to do, let's kind of get this show on the road in a way. I've got, in order to communicate a new strategy, a new way of doing things, you can't just say, go and do it. There has to be a realisation of what's gone on in the past to make logic and make sense of why do something different. And that's what this first presentation is about. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to get onto, we've got 6 live streams. This first one is to talk about where we are. If you don't know where you are, you cannot have a journey. It's impossible. So we're going to establish where we are, what's happened, and why do we do what we do, and why do we get the results that we get right now. Okay? And after this first presentation, the salespeople are going to absolutely love this. Like, beyond anything they've ever imagined in the past. This is drop dead. This is amazing. Okay, I'll come on to it. The next 4 are related to how do you do it. There's no point. There's enough people out there going, "I'm an ideas man. I've got this." No, show me how you do it. If you're truly entrepreneurial, you're going to identify a problem, and then execute the methodology to make it happen. And that's what I've done for the next 4. So getting set up, how you're supposed to how you need to communicate, and so on, and right the way through to infrastructure and setup. And then finally, we've got a review. The point of this is that the strategy that I'm going to talk about gives you the ability to reach your total addressable market at scale, engage with them at scale, identify the ones that are looking, and pass it on to sales. That's it. Simple. It's not complicated. However, the blockages that you will come up against are going to be significant, because there is a mechanism that exists that almost exists to stop you changing what you're doing. So let's move on to this. This is what I'm calling like the state of the nation. This is where we are. So if you look at the way that selling has happened and happens, it hasn't changed in about 70 years. You've got cold calling, you've got salespeople go out, and back in the day, the salespeople would find a business, cold call the business, talk to the business, do a presentation, demonstration, go and get it closed, come back and ring a bell. That was it. Nothing wrong with that. But they drove everything. Over time, technology changed, the internet came along, and we then had digital. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's making sure that we know why we're using it and who it was intended for in the first place. This is critical, absolutely critical. This guy, Daniel Kahneman, he wrote this book called Thinking Fast and Slow. And the premise of the book, the background of the book is summary. When we think fast, we perceive or believe it's instinctive. Okay? And we all make instant decisions about things. The other thinking slow, is like considered, is when you evaluate something and you establish whether it's going to be right or wrong for you. But we want to concentrate on fast thinking. Now, fast thinking comes about through doing things via repetition. And marketers do things via repetition. Okay? So the issue here is, what are we doing? Well, the way that marketing is now set up, we've got demand gen, lead gen, ABM, pay-per-click, banners, and so on. And trust me, I know the marketing side of things absolutely inside out. So you'll understand that what I'm saying is, I'm not looking to kind of encourage anything to do with digital marketing for B2B. Quite the contrary, and you'll see in a minute. So we've got this situation where you've got technology that's being used everywhere. I mean everywhere. And you have to understand how that came about. So, Big Tech Martech says, buy this technology. You go, well, yeah, because we want to generate more business, don't we? So, Martech tell their advocates, who are the marketers, to get you as a business owner to invest in the technology. And early days, the directors would say, well, I'm not doing that. And the response is, well, if you don't want to do it, if you don't want to compete, it's up to you. So gradually, with successive employees saying the same thing, it's now become the de facto standard in a business. You have marketing automation, you have demand gen, lead gen, ABM, ABX, and you have a whole raft of integrated technologies with Salesforce or Dynamics or whatever you're using as your CRM. That's it. Everybody's got the same tech. So you think, okay, if everyone's got the same tech, why then does this happen? This is really serious, because if you're looking at a mechanism that is supposed to deliver the results that you need as a business, why does CMOs get fired every 9 to 18 months? And that goes back to, I'm looking up here because I've got a screen up here, and that's from 2016. Now, the quickest narrative is a CMO comes in, promises the earth and doesn't deliver. That's the reality. And the timescale, they join a new company, 3 months to come up with a new plan, 12 months to execute it, 3 months to find a new job, or they're pushed. That's it. That's how it works. That's unfortunate. Now you think, well, is it really that cut and dry? Well, for the past 6 years it's been, 7 years. You think, okay, well, it could be. Yeah, so work with me on this. So now we look at failure rates and businesses. So you look at the numbers of businesses that start up and fail every year. So 500,000 start up, 500,000 fail every year. You've got 20, 30, 50, 91. 20% fail in the first, 30% in the second, 50% in the third, and by the 10th year, 91% of businesses fail. And that's Financial Times information. You go, okay. Next, businesses that get investment. I think it must be different for them. 20, 75, 95. 40%, 75%, 95%. So 40% of businesses fail that receive investment. 75% of businesses don't achieve the targets that they set for themselves. 95% don't make a return on investment for the investors, which is why all the investors are looking for unicorns. And according to CB Insights, they're an online publishing company, they say 50% of the reasons for businesses that go bust are marketing related. So it's like, wait a second, because what we're talking here is joining the dots. Next, now you look at what businesses are actually doing. So kind of cut to the chase. What's that? But look at us, we're doing this much business. Okay, now you look at how many people you employ and your turnover. Divide one by the other, it gives you a figure. Now the average turnover per person per annum is about 120 grand or $144,000. This is kind of up and down, but that's a fact. So it's like, if you expect a salesperson, I'm not giving carte blanche to salespeople to go off and not do any work, but to expect salespeople to do more business based upon what? So if the leads are no good, why the leads are no good? I'm going to come on to that in a minute. But if you're looking at the averages, if the average is 120 grand per person per annum across the board, I did a separate. We've got this analysis from the British Institute of Statistics. I did my own. So I looked at 75 of the larger software companies around the world and got all their turnover figures and their employee figures and divided one by the other. It was 144k. That's BPM, RPA, that's business process management, robotic process automation, enterprise architecture. And you think, 120 grand per person per annum. Wow. Now here's the kicker. Microsoft is closer to $1 million per person per annum, and Google's 2 million. Why is that? Because they sell one to many, and you don't. That's the bottom line. They won't cold call you. So that's the problem. So where does that lead to? Well, this is constant. So you're not doing enough business. And sales say, the leads are rubbish. And marketing says, nothing wrong with the leads. Leads are fine. It's just that lot. They can't sell. Sales enablement, that's what we need. We need to train them up. We need to give them a bit more training. Get them to learn how to close. You go, but I've been doing this for 20 years. I know how to close. The leads are rubbish. No, you see. But the issue and the problem here is that the technology that every B2B, because this is very specific about B2B, the technology that B2Bs use was designed for consumers. You go, well, surely not. Now you look at Demandbase, Marketo, Eloqua, Pardot, HubSpot. No. Go back to the beginning of the internet explosion. The main companies that were out there, the search engine companies, they were given massive valuations. You probably remember. They gave massive billions valuations, but the valuations were based upon the lifetime value of the companies that were connected to them. How did they establish the lifetime value of the company? Well, they would say, well, each person we expect to spend £100 or $100 or $200 over the lifetime of them being connected to us. How did they establish that? Through their email addresses. Everybody got wind of it and went, well, happy days. What we need is we need email addresses. How do we get people's email addresses? Well, just ask them, just try and do it. Well, that didn't really work very well, did it? So I tell you what we'll do. We'll write some documents and get them, and we'll offer these documents to them, or a newsletter, or access to a blog and some special offers, and they'll give us their email address to sign up, and we'll give them something as a discount or whatever. Happy days. So I'm quite happy to say, well, I look good in Levi jeans, or I look good in a pair of Adidas trainers, or I quite like Breitling or Rolex or Red Bull, whatever. I haven't got a problem signing up to their newsletters because they're never going to cold call me. So where we get to this point and think, where's the conflict coming from? Well, it's because the technology that's being used was designed to attract and get hold of email addresses. That's it. There's a KPI. So we've got an email address. We'll tell you what we'll do. We'll write some documentation and we make it available to prospects, and they'll go on the website. They want to download it. They'll give us their email address and we can phone them. We can ring them up. Simple. What we've done is we've achieved to not have to send people out knocking on doors anymore. That's it. That's the best it is. So you now got this situation where you're paying Google pay-per-click to go to your landing page to get the information, company name and email address and so on, to give them this documentation. Now the trouble is, businesses don't want to give out their information. And why would they? They want their plans to remain confidential. They always have. People are quite happy to acknowledge Gartner. If you sell software, you want to be on the Gartner quadrant. Makes sense. Gartner say 83% of businesses want to remain anonymous, don't want to speak to a salesperson until they're ready. So that anonymity is a problem. Because if the people that are driving the collation of email addresses and new business, and bearing in mind, there are companies now, excuse me, there are companies now that have given or have told or are instructing BDRs to report to marketing. So marketing are now responsible for new business development completely. So you've now got this situation where, in order to try and achieve their KPIs, it's called gifting. So, ABM tier 1, 2, 3, 4, if they're in tier 2 or 1, give them a gift. To me, that just smacks of desperation. Because you don't want to do that, because if you say, well, we'll give you $100, and someone says, I'm spending 150 grand with you, I want a bit more than $100. Oh, really? What would you like? It just opens up too many questions. And then you've got reverse IP lookup. So you've got these people that you're trying to get their name and address from an email form on marketing automation. So they go onto your website and they do that. Once that happens, that information goes into a data lake, which means they know who you are, where you are, what you've done. Even if you just visit a website, they've got your IP address. So now they know they've got your IP address, and if you've signed up to something at some stage, you've got these data lakes matching up the data. So you think anything that you do as a business, you're not anonymous. I mean, there are companies that they call de-anonymization, stalking, and nobody wants it. So you've got these multiple things that are happening. If you're looking on a larger screen, you can read this, but if it's a smaller screen, you can't. All this information is in the link. What we're saying is that to try and get business, to try and grow that pipeline, you have multiple steps and hoops to jump through when you're applying typical B2B marketing. It doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. if you've got an average turnover per person per annum, if you've never got enough leads, you've never got enough appointments. So the top row, that's where everybody is. So this is the staggering thing about it. That's where everyone is. The bottom one is a 2-step process. Simplify it. KISS, keep it simple, stupid, and all that kind of stuff. That's what you want. You want the ability to reach out to your total addressable market as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Excuse me. There's this guy called Buckminster Fuller. He said, if you want to, well, you can read it. To change something, you build a new model that makes the old one obsolete. That's what we're doing. That's what this is about. This whole premise. It's about changing the way that businesses, really specifically businesses, look at the way that they engage with their total addressable market. I mean, this is the process. I'll walk you through this. The first thing you need to do is tell people that you exist. And you need to do that at scale. But you also need to, there's a process of changing the way that you structure your website. Only the content on it. And I mean, we've got a thing, a solution that we call it Social 444. And what it is I think it was is I'll put this other one on. What we've got down here is a methodology to produce adverts to tell people this is what you need to do. So we have a downloadable brochure which you can get hold of. We don't want your email address, we don't want your company names, nothing. But it just explains how you approach what we call Social 444, which is 4 adverts put on social media 4 times a day and repeat. Okay? And here are our adverts. You may have seen them on LinkedIn, Facebook. But we've got 92 adverts. Okay? And all of these adverts point to our content. Okay? And so by going to our content, we're promoting our content. We're not just doing an article, chuck up the article on social and that's it. We're constantly promoting our content, but on autopilot. So today, we've got 4 adverts going out today, every single day. I don't have to do anything. So that's the first step. The second step is you invite your total addressable market to do this, to look at this. I mean, there's a reason. The reason for me doing this particular delivery live is really, really specific. I mean, I've got about 50 odd videos on my website, so I could have done a video. But the point of doing it live, it's the authenticity. And whilst I'm doing this kind of one-to-one, if there were 2 of you, and imagine this is your company doing this, everyone's watched breakfast television, everyone's watched talk shows, and they are so popular because people like listening in, people like watching, people feel that they're kind of engaged with it. So reaching your total addressable market and telling them to come and join you, very different to attempting to call them up. Especially when the success rate at the moment for telesales, cold calling, BDRs, is like 300 or 400 to 1. Why would you do it? I mean, there's the saying about trying to find a needle in a haystack. That's like picking up one piece of straw at a time to try and find your total addressable market, to find the people that might be interested. So if you know the statistics, or the kind of the typical stuff that's out there on the internet, it says between 1 and 15% of your total addressable market are looking to start their buying journey every week. Oh, okay. So remember the graph that I had with the line, yeah? Companies that have 50 employees and above, there are 44,000 of them in the UK. We just deal with the UK. There are 44,000 companies that have 50 employees or more. Let's just work with 10,000. So we can say that you could sell your product to 10,000 businesses out there with 50 employees or more, and at the current rate of turnover per person per annum, that gives about 5 million plus and rising. Yeah. So they can afford what you're selling. So if that's your total addressable market, and 1 to 15% are looking to buy, that means 100 to 1,500 people each week are looking to start their journey. How on earth do you ever expect to find them each week? Making one phone call at a time. And that's based upon whether you can actually connect with them. And the reason behind doing the social 444 as well as this, these statistics, sales is a numbers game. So let's start looking at applying ourselves to the numbers. 1997, Dr. Jeffrey Lant established that it took 7 touches before a prospect kind of recognised your brand. That's 1997. So 25 years later. I recently saw someone that said it was about 21 touches, give or take. Well, I thought back in the day it was 10 touches, and now it's 30. So you've got to have 30 presentations, 30 things that people see before you start to become recognised. 30. Now, the kicker here, 1 in 3 get through. Gone to lunch, left, gone to the loo, thinking about something else, not top of mind, on holiday, anything, any number of reasons. 1 in 3 messages get through. That's why you need 90. Does that make sense? So you've got this process of having to reach out because you need that repetition. It still comes back to repetition. And so then you also need, how are you going to reach your total addressable market? With a handful of telesales people. You've got a team. I mean, I heard of one of the larger marketing automation companies. I've got a telesales operation of 200 people on the phone. This is marketing automation, so you would think, well, wait a second. Even they know it doesn't work. So our job as business owners, how on earth do we adapt what we're doing to make our method low cost with the greatest possible ever reach? And you can only do it through live streaming. At the moment, you're selling one-to-one, and you have been for the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years, however long you've been in business. It's all one-to-one. Sales, BDR phones one person, hands one lead over to one salesperson, and so on. It's all one-to-one. This is one-to-many. Can you imagine? I mean, this is breathtaking. You reach out to 10,000 people. Cost pennies. I mean, okay, if we look at MailChimp, for example, 100 quid a month, to send out 12 emails to 10,000 businesses. It's nothing. Okay? Then, so you've got your 10,000 businesses. A percentage of them are looking every week. Let's just go with 1%. It's easy, yeah? 100 people are looking each week. And of those 100 people, some of them are going to be up for engaging with you. Maybe, maybe not. How on earth are you going to find 1%? But if you email them and say, this is what we're doing it this week, this is what we're doing next week, come and join us, come and have a look, this is what we're doing, come and meet us online, stay anonymous, come and get to know us. Overnight, you are able to reach your total addressable market for pennies. I happen to pay 50 quid a month to be able to broadcast over multiple social channels. But you can go live. You already know you can go live on LinkedIn. It doesn't cost anything. So, it's looking at how do you reach the largest possible group of people. And the only way you can do it is through streaming. And bearing in mind, if everybody's doing the same thing, think of the possibilities of destroying your competition. Whoever gets in there first in your particular industry and starts streaming to your audience, you already know, you've got your BDRs. The other company's got their BDRs. Everybody's got their BDRs. Everybody's got trying to do telesales and ring people up and fight for that business. Just go above them. Just get in there and say, right, we've got a live show. Come and join us every week. Come and get to know us. Ask us questions. This is all anonymous. I mean, you can email me. You can message me right now. I won't stop the show and answer it, but message me right now, and I'll get back in touch. And this is the point. This is the whole point of this, which is you've got to be able to do your prospecting at scale. It's never been done before. And the cost, I mean, you get 100 people. Imagine having 100 people. If your market's 10,000 and you have 100 people watch you, to get that level of activity and engagement would take you 100 BDRs 1 week to find someone. Because it's 300 to 1. 100 BDRs would cost you £5 million a year. You couldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. It's a no-brainer. So, the other things we've got, in terms of the self-service website, that's what people want to do. They want to learn. They want to self-educate, self-serve. And you want to enable your prospects to speak to sales direct, cut out any middle people. And they will put a mechanism in place, the software and routing, and whether it's email routing or whether it's phone routing, it's possible. It's doable. We know it's doable. So, in terms of live show segments, the list of different segments you can have is as long as your arm. And these are just the segments. These aren't the repetitive ones that you've got to have, like the intro and the welcome messages and that kind of thing. So here the point is, I don't know if anybody saw this last week. I did a series of 5 new news updates. Okay, and that format and that layout, you can see that's the same as Fox News. So we've got a moving background and we've got lower thirds and all this kind of stuff. But your company, you turn over however much you turn over. You've got a spare office, put a green screen up the back, a nice sofa in there, a couple of cameras, you're away. You can go live every day or every week. Entirely up to you. And that's what this is about. Is how do you do it? And it's so straightforward. Yes, the workflow is different. Of course it's different. But if you look at what your marketing people are doing compared to this, this is a spectacular way of generating new business. Nobody can touch it. So then we've got, we're kind of coming into land now. You've got a choice. If you look at this adoption curve, we all know about it. But if the percentages that you got there with the innovators and early adopters, yeah, I mean, we've got less than 20%. You want to sell to, call it 20%. You want to sell to your total addressable market. 20% are innovators and early adopters. So how are you going to find them? That's a perennial question. How do you find them? How do you seek them out? How do you get them to engage with you? How do you present who you are? How do you present your personality? And with no disrespect to BDRs, BDRs end up being the least qualified people in the company because the salespeople have been there for however long and are technically experienced and so on. And BDRs, they're just there, just get on the phone, get on the phone, get on the phone. And I've done it. We're leaving the success of the business to the least qualified people in the business to make it happen for us. And then making the rest of the business dependent on technology and marketing automation when it's proven to not work. But hey, what else is there? So if you're looking at that, you're looking at the early adopters who you want to sell to. But likewise, in your industry, are you an innovator and an early adopter? And if you are, you'll probably do this. And there will always be the early majority, late majority, and the laggards. It's just how it is. Everybody knows that's how it is. But how do you differentiate yourself? How do you establish that your company is the preeminent company that these prospects should be looking at? If you can't differentiate yourself right at the beginning with a BDR or a bit of marketing automation software, of which there are 4 or 5 main companies. So everybody's got the same software. Your logo and your B2B brand does not hold the same value as, say, Chanel. Nobody's interested. They want to know, can you, as a company, support me and my company in doing what we need to do if we buy from you? Can you support that? And the only way you can tell them, of course we can. Come and join us live. We're not going to cold call you. Come and find out who we are. Come and learn about what we do, how we help. And the thing with this, with all this information, this information, this will be live. This will be live. It'll be recorded. And the same thing you can do for them. Every live show gets recorded. Use it again. There's a choice. There's always a choice. Do you stay, phoning your prospects one-to-one? Or do you engage with them at scale? Do you try and get them to fill out a form? Or do you say, we've got a transparent open access website, come and learn. We'll help you learn. Because we know that if we've taught you, if we've educated you, if we've helped you, you will come and buy from us. Yet, that's how I work. I dare say that's how you work. We all do this. This is how we live. This is how we like doing things. We don't want to be sold. Especially B2B stuff, because we're looking to make a profit with anything that we buy. So, if that's how we live and how we work and all the statistics point to that, why are we using BDRs? Let's just tell our total addressable market, we're here, this is what we do, come and look. And the big question, how much is it going to cost? If you imagine you've got 10 BDRs, it's costing you £500,000 a year. It's a lot of money. And that means one person potentially per week they will find. So one BDR can find maybe 40 odd people a year, give or take. That's it. This, like it says, equipment, less than the cost of a BDR. And the reasons to do it are just that they're unequivocal. You cannot argue against it. I mean, for example, we've all got these, yeah? It's got a camera. I mean, the point of this is that I don't know where it's gone now. For example, I plug this in. We've got that live. Let's just should work. We live in in an age where the technology is spectacular. It's not expensive. Prosumer cameras is what people want to. They're readily available. But that's a conversation for another day. So next week's show. I mean, we're at the end. Yeah, we've got 4 more shows, or four shows that we're going to do, that we're going to be talking about. How to set this up, how you need, what product, what content you need, how the content needs to be structured, why your existing content doesn't work, yeah? And then you've got the technology and so on, and we're going to do a behind the scenes and what have you. But the critical thing here is that I want to have planted a seed that says, this is a bit of an eye-opener. We didn't quite realise joining the dots was quite like that. What are we supposed to do now? If you want to increase next year's turnover, you have to do something different. Do what you've always done. Get what you've always got. And that's the critical factor here. This costs pennies. I mean, to reach out to if you haven't got you should have a database of your total addressable market. You should have had it ongoing. If you haven't, it costs you $3,000 for 10,000 names. And so you use that database, you message people and say, this is what we're going to go. We're going to be doing. At the same time, you put the same database, upload it to LinkedIn, and they'll do banner adverts to tell that same group of people of 10,000, come and watch us. That's it, finished. This methodology, one person, and the reason I'm saying that, I'm doing this solo and everything else, it's to show you what's attainable, what's achievable. If you look at the website, I did the website. I built it, every graphic, every word, every document. I mean, even to the point, I wrote and published this book, which is on Amazon. The whole point of this is that you have to look at what the work rate is for marketing and what are they actually delivering. If I can reach out to potentially thousands, tens or hundreds of thousands of people, depending on how I want to run my business, so can you. And the process for new business, it must start at the beginning. Yeah? It must start at the beginning. Reach the greatest number of people, get them to self-segment, get to filter them down to the ones that are looking and work with them. And it flips everything. Absolutely flips everything. That actually brings us to a close. I hope you enjoyed this. Lot to take in. The recording is automatically processed at the end. And we'll be back same time next week, Thursday, talking about how to get this set up. There are some things that will surprise you because, like I said, I've spent 5 years pulling this apart, 10 years in fact, pulling it apart, putting it back together again and coming up with a new structure that completely flips your profitability. And like I said, salespeople absolutely love this. Absolutely love this. It's everything they've ever wanted. And I'm a salesperson, so I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's it from me. I'll see you next week. Like I said, any questions, message me. We go back to the main screen. Any questions? The email address is going to come up. The web address is going to come up. Just enjoy. Just look at the stuff. There is no close. There is no pitch. You will know. You will know if this is right for you. But the first thing you're going to do is start looking at what you are doing, and you'll make decisions from there. And like I said, we've got a few weeks here. It's coming to the end of February. Our shows finish at the end of March. That'll probably be the end of most people's fiscal year. We'll take it from there. See what happens for your next year. But join me next week, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.